Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Vegas Plant Girl. You can call me Rain. I am new to plants. I am new to YouTube. I only started collecting plants a few months ago. What I was hoping for was to help improve the air quality in my home. I wanted to get some plants that would help to purify the air and also provide more oxygen. So when I did my research, I found a list of plants. I think NASA did a study and they gave out a list of different plants that were the best at purifying your air. So at first I started with just those plants like the snake plant and just like easy, very easy plants to take care of. And I was so clueless as to this whole world out there of plant collecting. And so the more research I started doing with the plants, the more I started being exposed to this whole new world of exotic plants, really such beautiful plants that I did not even know existed that were actually easy to take care of. And the more I went to the nurseries and the stores to look for plants, the more I started falling in love with all of these different plants that I'd never heard of before. And so within the past few months, I've collected over 30, almost 40 plants. There have been some casualties. I think only 2 of them have died. I might be left with about 34 plants right now. So I'm going to do a plant haul for you and show you all of the plants that I've collected so far. And I'll talk about the ones that I've lost. And then I have a couple of them that are a little bit sick. So, and so if there's anyone out there that has advice for me on those plants, I would greatly appreciate any advice I can get. And I do realize that I'm very late to the game. I keep seeing that a lot of people actually started their plant journeys during COVID. So I don't know, I was busy with other things and I totally missed the boat. But I'm here now and I'm excited to share my plant journey with you guys. And I would love to make new friends with all of you plant lovers out there. So let's go ahead and get started. So now I'm going to show you the very first plant that I got. And it was a ZZ plant and it was actually given to me. So this was a cutting. I got 3 cuttings from a friend. They had this huge ZZ plant. And at the time, I didn't know it was called a ZZ plant. I just thought, wow, that is such a huge, beautiful plant in your house. And it's growing so well. And I thought, well, maybe if I got cuttings from it, somehow I had known about propagations back then. Maybe it would give me good luck if I got this thriving plant from a friend that I love. And if this plant would live for me, then maybe there was some hope for me because honestly, I've never had a green thumb. I've tried having plants before and I killed them. I don't know. I just didn't know how to take care of plants. So I got this and it was not in a pot. So it was a cutting and I had 3 of them. So these were the other 2. I have not potted this one, either of them up yet. So you can see the roots are pretty healthy. Well, they're a little bit black. So I don't know if that means it's root rot or not, but I need to get this potted and I'm going to do a video of that in my plant chores video. And this one, for some reason, didn't do well from the start. And I don't know why. So it has these leaves that look like they're kind of bleached out. And it just looks dirty and small. It's like a runt. I mean, it's got roots, it's growing roots. So I don't know if I should just keep it as a propagation in the water forever or if I should try to plant it. I mean, it just doesn't look that healthy. So if you guys have advice for me on that, yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys think. All right, so it's time for our spotlight close-up. Here is my ZZ plant. And this was the more robust of the 3 cuttings. And it's interesting to me how it's almost symmetrical with like pairs of leaves. And then this particular stem has like a marbling effect. It's like brown and green. And I think it's so beautiful. So this plant will always have a very special place in my heart because it's the very first plant that I ever purchased. I got this from my local nursery. So it's, they called it a raindrop umbrella plant. And when I got it, it was a baby, it was smaller and it grew so fast. I don't know. I feel like it started growing within days and more hope. Gave me more hope. So I asked the nursery how often they water their plants. They said they do it every Sunday. So I decided to do the same. but now I do every Saturday. So I water my plants every Saturday because I need to start somewhere, baby steps. And I do realize that every plant has different needs. And so I'm going to have to figure that out along the way. But this one is doing great, is thriving. It's very healthy. I mean, look at that. Oh, I love it. That is just such a cute little plant. So here is the spotlight close-up of my umbrella plant. And I've got the scientific name and the family name. And this is for entertainment purposes only. I'm doing this because I'm curious about my plants and I want to see what plants are grouped together in the same family. So about my umbrella plant, when I first got it, all the leaves were green. There was no variegation, but after I brought it home, it started to show variegated leaves for whatever reason, and that's okay with me. I'm looking forward to watching this plant grow over time. Okay, so I have no idea what my third plant was, but this here is a philodendron Birkin, as you can probably recognize, and I did not get this for the aesthetics. So I started following plant accounts on Instagram, and one of the reels was saying that the philodendron Birkin was different from other plants because rather than breathing in oxygen and competing with oxygen at night, because I guess plants, I didn't know this before, but I think this is true. I hope the reel was correct, but I did look it up. And so plants use photosynthesis during the day when there's light, and they breathe in carbon dioxide and then they give us back oxygen. But at night, when there's no light, they actually use cellular respiration like we do, and they breathe in oxygen and they breathe out carbon dioxide. So that was very interesting to me. But some plants don't do that, like cam plants, but also, I guess, the philodendron Birkin. So have you guys heard that before? Is that true? And that's why I got this for my bedroom, because I want it to give me oxygen at night and not take away my oxygen. So here's the close-up of my philodendron Birkin. As you can see, the larger leaves are dark green and the newer leaves are coming out with the pinstripes. And this one seems to be a slow grower. So here's one of the earlier plants that I got. It is a succulent. It's a calancho, if that's how you say it. But it's so fuzzy. Oh my gosh. I got it because of the fuzziness. I'm not really into cacti. I like some succulents, but I don't think I'm going to be owning very many. But the calanchos that are fuzzy like this, oh my gosh, I love it so much. And so this one is nicknamed polar bear because it has kind of a white color, I guess. Oh my gosh, one of my favorite plants. And it had some leaves that were shooting out, and I clipped them off and I turned them into propagation. So I have a little baby. I put this in here weeks ago. I have no idea if it has roots yet, but I mean, it's still thriving, and it's got the little new sprout coming out in the middle. So I guess it's doing all right. So here is my fuzzy polar bear. And while I was looking up the scientific name online, I have since discovered that this plant is a native to Madagascar or tropical Africa, and it actually flowers. So it will get pink or purple flowers, which I'm excited to see. And this is another one of my earlier plants. This is a hope, peperomia hope. So it is a succulent, and it's got these thick leaves. It has sprouted these long stems since I got it. And I guess when plants are like this, they say that they're leggy, and maybe it's not getting enough sunlight, which is weird because it's right next to my window, but maybe I need to give it more direct sunlight or more bright indirect sunlight. I'm not sure. But I mean, it seems healthy. And when I first started collecting plants, I thought, oh my gosh, I have to match the pot. Every plant has to have its own aesthetic and match its pot. So I found this pot at IKEA, and it had like these little dots on it with these like long stems, and I thought it totally matched the plant. and luckily it was on sale, so I got it pretty cheap. But now that I have over 30 plants, I've given up on buying pots. All my plants are still in their nursery pots, and they're probably going to stay like that for a while because I'm not going to be spending that much money on pots. I just don't want to, at least not for now. My peperomia hope gives me hope that I can in fact be a plant person. It is in a pot that I got from IKEA. It does not have a drainage hole, so I don't know if that's going to hurt or help this plant in the long run. I'm thinking about growing propagations from this plant on moss poles in the future. So here is my Christmas cactus plant. This was a gift. And when I first got it, it was during Christmas season and had like the pink flowers blooming, and they would get really big. But as soon as it started getting warmer, the flowers just died off and stopped blooming. And it started getting warm here in Vegas pretty early, so I haven't had flowers for a while in here. It's not doing that well. I'll show you a close up, but like it's like shriveling up on some of the leaves, and I have no idea why. I don't know if I'm not watering it enough. I feel like if it's a cactus, you're not supposed to water it that much, so maybe I'm underwatering. I really don't know. So I started giving it more water, and it started coming back because they all started to shrivel, but now they all look more plump again, except for this one part. So I don't know, should I cut this off? It turns out this is a very popular plant, especially around the holidays. It is in fact a true cactus, and it is also a succulent. What I did not know is that they are also epiphytes, and they are not desert cacti, but they are native to tropical areas like Central and South America. So this may be what my problem is. I think I have not been giving it enough water, the water that it needs. They actually do enjoy high humidity. In the wild, they grow on trees and rocks. So here is my Kiwi Kane Dracaena marginata. And I'm really not into the Dracaenas. I don't really like stripy plants, but this one was so cute to me because it looks like a little tiny tree, and it's got these it's like a tuft of leaves. And I don't normally like lime colored plants either, but this one, because it's so small and skinny, I thought it was cute. So it hasn't really grown, and it lost a couple of leaves. I don't really know how to take care of this plant, so we'll see how that goes. Here's my baby Dracaena marginata Kiwi Kane. I would never have guessed that this is part of the asparagus family, and I love how this one has a long trunk like it's a little tiny tree. Here's my peace lily. When I first bought this, it was 100% healthy. It looks so nice. And then I don't know what happened. The leaves started to yellow and dry up. So am I not giving it enough water? Well, I guess there's roots coming out, so maybe I should repot it. Maybe it needs a bigger pot. But I mean, the leaves at the top look super healthy. So I don't know, I'm guessing it needs to be repotted. So I'm gonna do that in my plant tours video. Yeah, so I got the peace lily to help purify my air. So in doing research for my peace lily, I have come to understand that the white flower is actually not a flower, it is a spade and a spadix. So the white part is a modified leaf, and then the spadix has all these little bumps, and apparently the flowers are almost microscopic, and they each live on the tips of the tiny bumps. And once the spadix matures, you can harvest the seed pods and grow more peace lilies. So please take this with a grain of salt. I'm learning all of this online. I do plan to experiment with planting the seed pods though, so stay tuned for that. All right, so I did a video where I went to my local nursery and Home Depot. And the reason why I went to Home Depot that one time was because these were there for $6 each, like 5 something. So I thought that was a really good price for Hoyas. I love getting baby plants because they're so much cheaper. I don't want to spend a lot of money on a plant and then it dies on me because I don't know how to take care of it. And plus I just love baby plants. I think they're so cute, and I like having that bonding experience with the plant where you get it as a really tiny small baby and then it grows up with you. um, oh, ooh, it's a gnat. Okay, I'm gonna have to do something about the gnats. So this one says it's kelp grove, a kelp grove Hoya. And this one says it's a sea stones Hoya. These are trademarked. So I guess that means I'm not allowed to propagate and sell them, but that's okay. I just want to see them flower because I've seen videos where people have Hoyas that flower and they smell really nice. Well, some of them smell nice and some smell weird, but I really hope I can get them to flower. I don't know if it's going to happen for me out here in Vegas because it's so dry. I think they need humidity, but I'm going to give it a try and see what happens. And I might have to wait for years before they mature enough to even flower, but that's okay. I'm willing to wait. And I just love the waxiness of the leaves, and I love to touch them. I don't know, these feel kind of dry. Maybe I need to give them more water. Maybe I need to mist them. Okay, I'm gonna mist them.
So here are my sea stones. So at the beginning of my plant journey, I actually was not very impressed by the Hoya plants. And when I saw these at Home Depot, I almost didn't buy them. Actually, I didn't buy them the first time I saw them. But I've seen plant fluencers talk about their Hoyas, and when I learned that they do flower, I was very intrigued by that. And then I couldn't stop thinking about this, and then I went back and I purchased them. And this one is called the sea kelp.
All right, so here are two succulents that I got. There's nothing really special about them. For some reason, I like the tiny trees. uh, and this matches a pot that I have. I need to pot it in there one day. I'll do that in my chores video. And this, I don't know what the names of these are. It doesn't say. Wait, this one does. Oh no, I dropped my plant. Okay, I just got soil on my carpet. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna have to repot that. Okay, so this is called Echeveria nodulosa, and it's kind of ugly. This is the ugliest plant that I own. And I'm not really sure why I bought it. I thought it was just unique. It looked different from all the other ones, and I like the tree looking ones, and I'm noticing now that it has spines on it, which I don't like. I don't like spiny plants, but there you go. Maybe I'll try to sell it.
All right, so how about a close-up of my ugliest plant? So I'm very surprised to learn that this is actually not part of the cactus family. It is part of the stone crop family, which I have never heard of. I believe that this plant has character. It almost looks like a little tiny person with its arms out. And even though it does have spikes in it, I might keep it after all. And this one was not labeled. I do believe it is the same type of plant as the previous one. And I've just learned that these are flowering plants, so that is definitely something to look forward to. I can't wait to see if these little plants are going to give me flowers in the future.
All right, so here's a plant that I found at Target. It's a Monstera standeliana albo variegata. And when I saw it, I mean, I wasn't really like enamored by the way that it looks, but it was interesting to me that it's a Monstera. So I looked it up online, and I guess it's more of a rare plant. They also call it a cobra philodendron, even though it's not a philodendron. For the longest time, I was confused whether Monsteras are philodendrons or not, and they're not. Monstera is like its own grouping of plants, and they don't all necessarily like get the fenestrations or split leaves. So like this plant will never fenestrate and the leaves will never split, even though it is a true Monstera. So I thought that was interesting. But I also I love white leaves. The leaves that have the creaminess or like the very white coloring in them, I love so much. So this had the white in it, and the fact that it's a Monstera was very, I don't know, intriguing to me. And I am a year of the snake. So the fact that it's nicknamed a cobra, it looks like a snake from the side, it kind of speaks to me. So this came in a self-watering pot, and I don't know if that's necessarily the best thing for this plant. I might repot it, and I'm going to try to make my own Arrowhead mix. There's lots of recipes online, so I'm going to try to do that, and I'll probably give it a moss pull. I'm going to make some moss pulls also, and I'll make videos of myself trying to do that. um, but actually, I wonder how many plants are in here. Looks like it might be more than one. I don't know if it's all connected or not, but we'll find out. And I also learned about, I don't know if it's called, if you pronounce it gutation or guttation, but this plant actually did, it had like beads of water on it, on the leaves one morning. And I learned online that it's a process where the plants expel water that's like, maybe it has too many minerals or too much water. And so it has to expel it through these pores that they have. So it's not the same as transpiration, because transpiration you can't see. And it comes out of, I think, the stomata. So it comes from a different place. But both of those processes, the water comes from the plant itself. So it's definitely not dew, which comes from the atmosphere, because I live in a desert and I have my heater on and my fan. So it's definitely not dew. It's so dry here. So yeah, guttation or guttation, something, you learn something new every day.
So I'm learning about myself that I do love almond-shaped leaves that come to a point. I don't think that's necessarily my favorite shaped leaf, but I do have quite a few plants that have that shape. I'm not very happy with the display of this plant. I am excited to experiment with growing this on a moss pole. I can see that it has some aerial roots growing out, as you can see here. And I plan to give it lots of light with hopes that it will get more variegation. And what is this? I love discovering the new leaves starting to bud.
Okay, so here is my rubber plant, burgundy rubber plant, which is going to turn into a tree eventually, I hope. Um, I love the darkness of the leaves. It's very striking. And I love the shape of the plant. I love how the leaves are like bigger at the top and then smaller at the bottom. And I guess, I don't know what this is. Are these aerial roots or what? Or do I just need to repot it? They feel super dry. I feel like if I feel like it's gonna crack. I need to repot this, I think. But I don't know, it's just, it has such beautiful leaves. And if I clean it, so my phone died, and I don't remember what else I said about this plant, but I'm gonna do these spotlight close up for you.
I love how the growth points on this plant are red when the leaves first start to sprout. My plant is a little bit dirty. It's got dust and water spots on it. I need to learn how to clean my plants and get some neem oil to shine it up. I've been trying to find a burgundy colored pot for this plant, but I cannot find one anywhere. There are plenty of red, but they're more like brick or orange colored, and I want something more purpley. And I have learned that they do grow aerial roots. They help with stability and absorbing nutrients and moisture from the air.
Okay, so here is my snake plant, and it is doing great. It has grown since I got it. This might be the largest plant that I own right now. I think it is. It's doing very well, very healthy. It also has a little green gnome in there, if you can see that.
So apparently this plant has been reclassified by botanists. It is no longer Sansevieria and is now called a Dracaena. This is becoming one of my favorite plants because it is so easy to take care of. I may have to get the moonshine version of this.
I'm a little bit out of breath. I'm like trekking through my house to get all of these houseplants here. So here's our neon pothos. So I'm not really into the yellow leaves, but my daughter likes this one because it has this really long trail. Like she just wanted the longest trail that I could find. So this goes in her room. It is pretty. I mean, it's a happy color. It's a happy looking plant.
Alright, so the neon pothos. I have been getting the epipremnum, the philodendron, and the monstera confused, but I'm learning that there are 3 different genus within the Arrowhead family.
Here is our Chinese money plant. Got it as a baby. It's got some new leaves here. Very cute.
So I got this Chinese money plant as a Christmas present for my daughter. I wanted to get plants to help purify the air in her bedroom.
Here is my ivy. This was only $4.98. I forgot if I got this at Lowe's. I think it was Lowe's. So I had been looking for an ivy for a while. All the ones that I was seeing were in hanging pots, and I believe they were about $15, maybe more. And I was not about to spend $15 on a plant, not at that time. So I love it when I find plants that are only $5. I don't care if it's a baby and not big yet. I just have a lot to learn about plants. But yeah, I just didn't feel like I deserved a plant that was more than $5 unless I could keep it alive. So there's that.
So I'm going to admit that I used to think that ivy was boring. I guess I've just seen it too many times, and it just seems really common. But seeing it amongst my other plants, it really stands out with the jagged edges, and I find it now to be very beautiful. And I think it's a great contrast to the other plants that I have in my collection.
And here is my Pothos and Joy. So this is actually, this was $12.98, but I felt okay spending that amount on this plant because I heard that pothos are very difficult to kill. So I don't know if that's necessarily true with all the pothos, but I was feeling confident when I bought it that it was not going to die on me. And I was just so captivated by the whiteness in the leaves. I'm a sucker for white leaves. I can't help it. Yeah, it's like every leaf is a jewel, and I just love to look at them all and just stare at my plants.
All right, so I find it so fun to learn about plants. I wanted to be a botanist at one point in my life. I just think that plants are so interesting. So I've learned that this is the same species as the neon pothos, but it is a cultivar, which means that it has been cultivated by humans, and you cannot find this in the wild as it is. So I guess it's been cultivated for the variegation, and even the shape looks different from the neon pothos.
Whew, I'm realizing that I have quite a few plants. I know there are people out there with like over 100, maybe 200 plants. I'm not quite there yet. Will I be one of those people? Quite possibly. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so here is my white knight philodendron. So I got this as a baby. I saw a larger one that was so beautiful. It was so beautiful, but it was $20. And that was way more than I wanted to spend on a plant. So I waited until they had babies, and they came out with babies. So my phone died again. I had to recharge it. I think I was saying that they came out with their babies, and they were like $9.98 or something like that. So almost $10. So not quite the $5 I like to pay for babies, but I guess the white knight is more rare, and I really wanted it. So there it is.
It's looking like I have more plants in the Arrowhead family than in any other family. And definitely the philodendron whites are one of my most favorite plants. So I didn't notice before, but there's a new leaf sprouting out. I was going to cut off this dead looking leaf, but I'm glad I didn't because there's a new one coming out of it. And I know this plant looks kind of sad, but It's a baby and it will grow up.
So here's my Arrowhead vine, only $3.98. I love that price for plants. So I think this is a syngonium, but at my nursery they just call it Arrowhead vine. They sell these in hanging pots there, and they're more than $10, I'm pretty sure. Um, but I was debating whether I should get one or not because it has such thin leaves, and I have a ripple peperomia, which I'm going to show you, and it's been giving me a hard time. And they have really thin leaves, so I think because of that, I have this prejudice now towards thin leaves. I feel like it's hard to take care of plants with thin leaves, but we'll see. I mean, I've read that these are easy plants to take care of, so I hope that's true. But I mean, I saw it so many times every time I went to the nursery, and I kind of just passed it by. And then somehow the shape of the leaf kind of grew on me. And I don't know, Arrowhead, sometimes the names will push me to the edge and make me buy a plant because I like the name of it. But it's very cute. We'll see what happens.
My syngonium is so healthy and it seems like a low maintenance plant. And I think it can do okay in medium light as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to grow. And I've seen all the different colors that they come in and the different variegations. So I am definitely going to be adding to my collection of syngoniums as long as it's affordable.
So here is the ripple peperomia. And okay, there's another dead leaf. It's got tiny new sprouts, but I've lost many leaves. And I don't know why. Maybe it's because I put it in a pot that's too big. So this was one of my earlier plants, and I didn't know about the whole like not giving it too much space because the roots get overwhelmed. But when I learned about that, I switched it back into a smaller pot and it started doing even worse. And maybe I can show you a picture somewhere on the screen of what it looked like when it started wilting. But I put it back into this big pot and then it bounced back. And I thought it was good. I thought it was thriving. But for some reason, it's losing leaves here and there. So maybe that's just a normal thing with peperomia, or the ripples at least. Their leaves are definitely very thin, and I just feel like it's a very sensitive plant. I don't think all peperomias are like that. So it looks pretty sad, this little skinny little tuft inside this huge pot. I hope it does well over time because I do like it. I like the look of it, and of course, back in the beginning of my journey, I got this pot to match the leaves because it's got the ripples on the leaves, and then this had kind of like the same look. But
So I've just learned that peperomia are epiphytes, which means that they do not grow in the ground out in the wild. They grow on trees or rock, but I don't think they like to climb very high. They also like well-draining soil, which might be my problem here. So I might need to change the soil to a more of an aeroid mix.
all right, so I'm getting to the point where I can't really remember what plants I've shown you and which I haven't. um, so this is a type of succulent, and it's very smooth. I love how it kind of has like a geometric shape to the leaves. And I'm trying to minimize having the presence of plastic in my life. So most of the pots that I bought, almost all of them are ceramic, and there are places where I can find cheap ceramic pots. But when I saw this pot, this is plastic, I just thought it was so perfect for the plant. I just thought aesthetically, I think it looks good like this. I love how tall it is, the pot, and then it has like the square shape, which matches kind of like the pointy and like geometric shape of the plant. So this was an exception that I made. But yeah, I really am trying to make an effort to not to bring in more plastic in my life than I need to. So I do realize all of the nursery pots are plastic, but what can you do?
Unfortunately, this plant was not labeled. I do know that it's a succulent, but it was just labeled assorted succulents. If you know what this is, I would love if you could leave it in the comments below.
So here's another calancho, and I hope I'm saying that right. So it is also a succulent, and it's the fuzzy one. Oh my God, I love the fuzzy succulents. So this one is nicknamed Chocolate Soldier. I love it. Oh, it's brown. The tips are brown. And it actually looks like three. I wonder if there's three different plants in there. I could separate them out and grow them each in their own separate pot. Hmm.
This succulent is capable of flowering, and I found some directions online that are very specific. They are saying that in order for it to bloom, it needs a period of 6 weeks where it gets 14 hours of darkness. And then about 4 months after that dark period, it will bloom with colorful flowers.
All right, so here's one of my casualties. It's a little bit sad. I've got better plants coming up, so don't leave yet. My favorite plant I'm saving for last. Maybe you can already see it in the screen. Keeping it by my side. I love it so much. Okay, but anyways, I got a baby string of pearls because I thought it was so cute. And it was so healthy when it was at the nursery. It was so succulent and they were so round and there were so many of them. And I brought it home. It was doing well for a while, like weeks. And all of a sudden one day, it just shriveled up like overnight. It just died on me and I have no idea why. I thought succulents would be so easy to take care of, but I'm finding that to be not true for me. For me. Um, I mean, I live in a desert and I feel like succulents and cactus should just live without me having to do anything. And I was watering it weekly. And I have a special mix for, I mean, I used cactus and succulent potting mix. So I don't know what I did wrong. Um, I have no idea. But somebody sent me an article and about how to propagate these things. So I saved the last 4 stems that were still healthy and alive, and I just put them on top of the soil. And 3 of them, well, 2 of them are gone pretty much. One of them's like, it's got 2 little beads on it left, or leaves, is that what they are? And there's only 1 left. So we'll see what happens with that. I hope it comes back. Otherwise, if it doesn't, I love string of pearls, but I'm not going to buy another one because it's too traumatizing for me.
This is my before video, and this is after. So another surprise find with this plant is that it is part of the daisy family. I really hope that it will bounce back, and if it does, I'm going to try watering it from the bottom rather than from the top.
The queen, marble queen Pothos. Oh, the white, the creaminess. Oh, I can't take it. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. It's got a limp leaf over here. It's been limp for a while. The soil looks super dry. I put cinnamon on the soil because there was a gnat flying around, and I read online that that helps to deter the gnats from nesting in there. So I don't see any gnats now. I don't know if the cinnamon is bad for the plant or not. I don't think it's bad for the plant. I mean, it's still doing okay. I put that on there like a week or 2 ago, and this leaf has been limp for a while. I should probably cut it off, but oh, I can't wait for this thing to grow out. Oh my gosh.
My beautiful marble queen. I think it's safe to say that most people know that pothos are easy to take care of and grow, but I think what is less commonly known is that you can grow these on moss poles, and one leaf can grow over 1 foot long. I learned about this on Melissa's channel, Plants by Melissa. It's going to be a fun challenge for me to grow this on a moss pole and see how large and long I can get it to grow.
Okay, so here is my lemon button fern, another $3.98 plant. Yes. I love this fern so much. It is so cute. It's looking a little bit dry and not as healthy as when I first brought it home. I'm going to try making a pebble tray for it. I don't know if I want to invest in a humidifier yet. I feel like if I get one humidifier, I'm going to feel like I need to get more for all of my plants. But I read online, of course, I learn everything online, that you can make a pebble tray so that the water will evaporate up and it will create like a little pocket of humidity for the plant. So yeah, I'm just going to give it a shot and see how that goes. I've heard that misting is not good for plants' leaves because it can cause like fungus problems. I probably won't have that problem out here in Vegas, so I should probably mist this thing.
Growing up as a child, my mother would always have plants in our house, and I remember one of those plants was a type of fern. I don't know what type of fern it was, it just looked like a regular common houseplant to me, and I never really liked it. But when I saw this tiny fern with its little button leaves, I instantly fell in love.
Here is my maiden hair fern, again, $4.98, which is great because I think I'm losing it. Overnight, again, it just shriveled up. Like, I didn't even have a chance to try to save it. I mean, I think it's still alive. Uh, I don't know. I think I might have had the fan on that night. So maybe the draft, like, just dried it out. Um, so I misted it. I gave it water. And I did make a pebble tray for this one. So here's my pebble tray. I'm not going to tip it because the water will spill out. I'll show you the spotlight close up, but this is how it sits. And I've got it on the shelf over here because I feel like that will help protect it a little bit from the wind. I mean, not completely, but just at least it's not 100% exposed. The maidenhair fern is one of the most beautiful ferns I have ever seen. I'm seeing that there is a northern and a southern maidenhair fern, and I do believe that mine is a southern. And it's interesting that it is not in the same family as the lemon button fern. Here's my pebble tray. The rocks I got only for a couple of dollars, and the bowl I got for $1.75. All right, so here was another casualty, and again, it was another string of. So this was the string of tears, and boohoo, yes, it's something to cry about because that thing, about the same time as the string of pearls, just all of a sudden overnight shriveled up, just shriveled away into oblivion, and I had no idea why. So I'm going to keep the pot and reuse it for something else. I'm not buying any more string ofs. Yeah. So I have since learned that I should have bottom watered this in a tray of water for 10 minutes. And here is my Cebu blue. It says it's a Cebu blue philodendron, but I thought it was a pothos, and I have no idea actually whether this is a pothos or a philodendron. I'm gonna have to look that up later. When I first saw this plant, I was really not impressed. I thought it had interesting leaves because it has that bluish undertone. It's kind of like silvery. I like how they're matte. The babies come out kind of shiny. I've got lots of new sprouts coming out. These are still unfurled. So cute. But when I looked it up online and I saw a picture of a mature one that was like growing up a pole, and it had fenestrations and it had split leaves. Did you know that did you know that these could do that? If you grow these up a moss pole and give it lots of light, their leaves will split and it looks almost like the Monstera, like this. Well, this is not an actual Monstera, but I thought that was so cool. And that was the whole reason why I got this plant, because I want to try to get the leaves to split. So I'm going to make moss poles and cut one of these off and see if I can get it to grow up the moss pole. And I have plenty of light in my bedroom here. And hopefully, maybe within a year, I'll have split leaves on these things. Oh my God, I'm so excited about that. I'm gonna have to cut this off. I'll do that in my plant chores video.
Alright, so I've cleared up my confusion. This is a Pothos epipremnum, and it is not a philodendron. It is a vining epiphytic plant, so it would do well on a moss pole. And I do plan on propagating this plant and growing them on moss poles. I want to see how large I can get the leaves to grow and also to get them to fenestrate. I will also keep it in a hanging plant with the smaller leaves.
Okay, so we're getting closer to the end and my favorite plants are coming up. All right, so what do I have left? Okay, so here is an Alocasia. I watch a lot of plant videos online and I've seen people with alocasias and they find corms. The fact that this thing lays corms in the soil and you can grow baby plants from it, oh my gosh. I really want to find corms and grow a plant, sprout a little tiny baby. Like I would love that so much. And I did splurge on this $7.98 because I really wanted to try owning an alocasia, especially a cheaper one. So this I found in my local nursery. And I don't know how well it's going to go out here. It's so dry. And I'm pretty sure these things love humidity. So I'm either going to have to get a humidifier for it. I'll try the pebble tray thing, but I don't know if that's going to be enough for this plant. Or I'm going to have to get one of those little greenhouses from IKEA, which I really don't want to spend money on that. I mean, it looks like it's coming out with a new leaf. It looks like a new stem is growing there, but it's like brown on the top. Does that mean it's dying? I don't know. I did lose some leaves, like a lot, but it's got this one new shiny one. So I'm just going to keep misting it every day and hopefully it will stay alive for me. I've got it in my bathroom and I turn on my tub to try to mist the room in there so it can get some humidity. So we'll see how that goes.
Here is my very first alocasia, my starter alocasia. The nursery that I bought it from calls it elephant ear, and I have no idea what species this is. I looked it up online, and I don't know if it's an Amazonica or a poly, and actually it might be a hybrid, so I don't even know if this has a species name or not. It's a striking plant that caught my attention. Mine is growing a sprout, so hopefully it will do well for me in these desert conditions.
Okay, so what do we have here? I got this Hoya, which is also a succulent, from Lowe's. And I went into Lowe's thinking, I'm just going to look at the plants. I'm not going to buy anything. I just want to see what they have there. But when I saw all of these Hoya with these long trails, look how long this trail is. And it's only $16.98, so that's way more than what I wanted to spend on plants. But for a plant that has a trail this long and it's more mature and it's beautiful, like it has these pink leaves. Like I was having trouble deciding between this and another one, which had like the half moon leaves, but is white. It didn't have any pink on that one. Maybe I can show you like the video in a clip or something. Um, and I ended up choosing this one because I did like the pink. I do like pink plants, but I haven't purchased a whole lot of them. I'm mainly into the white right now, the creamy and the white plants, but this was one of my first pink plants, and I cannot wait to see if one of my Hoyas is going to flower for me. Please flower for me, I hope. I hope it does. So beautiful. Um, and honestly, I do not know like which type of Hoya this is because it doesn't say on here. I don't think. Wait, it does. Oh, okay. It's a Carnosa Crimson Queen. That's what I thought it was because I've seen pictures of the Crimson Queen. I've seen people talk about them. And I was like, oh, I think I have that. And I do. Yes. Okay. Oh, and also I learned that you can tell the difference between a Crimson Princess and a Crimson Queen because the Crimson Queen has the crown. So the white is on the outside like a crown on your head. And then the princess has the white on the inside so that it has a gown. So the queen wears the crown, the princess wears the gown. So the white is on the inside of the princess. Interesting.
I feel so lucky to have found such a beautiful specimen at such a great price. Hooray for Lowe's! I absolutely love the pink blush on these leaves. And I love how a few of them are pure blush pink without any green. I think it is a nice contrast to the entire plant as a whole. I am definitely going to try to propagate this plant because I want to have one that grows up a trellis, and then I want to keep this one hanging in the basket. I first learned about Hoya from watching Wild Fern on YouTube. I am so grateful for all of these plant people who share their journeys online. I'm learning so much from them, and it is allowing me to fulfill my dream of having a jungle in my house. Oops, I just realized I forgot to introduce my aloe vera plant. And there's a propagation chocolate soldier. I got this plant for the air quality in my home. It's very good at purifying the air and easy to take care of.
So we're getting towards the end. I think I have like 3 plants left. My favorite ones. Okay. Oh, what is that? Oh, oh my God. I did not even know that it was sprouting a new leaf. Oh my God, that makes me so happy. That makes me so happy. I'm going to tear up. Oh my God. I love this plant so much. And I can't remember what exactly it's called. So the nickname is Mini Monstera. And maybe I'll put the names on the screen once I figure out what actually they are. So this plant haul that I'm doing, the video, is helping me also to learn about my plants. Oh, this is one of my very favorite plants, and I really hope that it does well. I just want it to grow all over my house, like all over my walls, everywhere. And I know that's not going to be a possibility because I do believe these also like humidity. And my house is mostly dark. Like I got plants for my entire house, but I'm ending up putting them all in my bedroom because my bedroom is the one room that receives the most sunlight, like from morning to night, because it's like on the south side. And I have windows on both sides, like so east and west, and then also on the south. And the rest of my house is just completely dark. I can't put any plants hardly anywhere in my house except for my bedroom unless I get the lights, which I'm not ready to spend money on that yet. But maybe in the future, if this thing does well and I can propagate it and like grow like a lot long vines, maybe I'll think about investing in a light and put it in other places in my house. Oh my God. I'm not going to kiss it because I don't know if it's toxic or not.
My beautiful mini Monstera. I got this from my very first online purchase. I found it on Etsy from a seller in Florida. It arrived in perfect condition, and now it is giving me a 4th leaf. It came with 3. In the future, when this plant is established with lots of leaves, I'm going to try to get it to flower.
Okay, so the white is so white on this thing. And my local nursery marks this as a white wizard philodendron, but it has pink in the stem. So I made a reel and I was asking people if they've ever seen a white wizard with pink stems. And I learned that it's actually called a white princess. So I guess they like to name plants princess when it has pink in them. Oh my gosh, it reminds me of Neapolitan ice cream, but there's just no chocolate. It's like green instead of chocolate. um, oh, and I almost didn't get it. So I saw it there and I was like, oh my God, it's $20, $19.98. There's no way I'm not going to pay $20 for a plant. So I left it there. Then I couldn't stop thinking about it. And then when I learned that it was a white princess, oh, I couldn't help myself. I went back to the nursery that day and I bought it. And I'm so glad that I did. I probably would have just like dreamt about this plant forever. And I think I would have totally regretted it if I didn't get it. But I'll show you close up so you can see. Oh my God. It's like the most beautiful plant, almost.
The white philodendrons are definitely one of my favorite plants. I now own a white knight, a white princess, and I'm looking for a white wizard. I hope I can find a baby. If not, I'd be willing to pay $20 for a perfect specimen. I plan to experiment with propagating these and growing them on moss poles. I will also keep this one in a pot. The white in these leaves is the purest white I have ever seen on any plant. It's like milk. I love it so much. I can't stop staring at these beautiful leaves. And I've got some little tiny baby ones coming out. And the pink is so beautiful, like strawberry milk. I'm excited to see if the new leaves will have any pink variegation.
The grand finale. I told myself that I would never own a Monstera because I was seeing all of these videos and it just seemed like so much, it was like so high maintenance, and I was not ready for that. I was not expecting myself to turn into a person who would love plants so much that I would be willing to sacrifice my time to do plant chores and take care of them like basically like an animal. I mean, they're not as demanding as like a dog or a cat. Maybe a cat is not even demanding, but like, I don't know. I mean, this is going to be a pretty high maintenance plant. I'm going to have to make a moss pole for it, which I don't know. It'll be a fun project. And this is the most expensive plant that I own. Like, I really, really splurged on this because look at that leaf. I, no, I can't live without it. As soon as I saw it, I saw all the ones that they just got in stock at my nursery, and it was $44.98. That's expensive. That's an expensive plant for someone who doesn't know how to take care of plants. But apparently monsteras are easy to take care of, so I just have to be careful not to overwater it. And like I said before, I am going to make the Arrowhead mix for it. And I'll use that once I make the moss poles. I'll make the Arrowhead mix and then I'll put that all together. But look at this. This one has like a half moon leaf. It's so funny. When I saw pictures of white plants online, I was like, ew, that's gross. I would never get a white plant. But then when I saw it in person, I was totally transformed. And look at this. It's got a new leaf, but also, if you notice, there's no fenestrations, but this one has splits. Oh my God. There's like two splits on the underside of this new leaf. Oh my God. I feel so happy. Oh, my little baby's growing up.
The Thai constellation Monstera is currently my most favorite plant in all the world. If somehow I messed up and killed this plant, I would buy this plant over and over again until I mastered its care. The leaves on this plant are absolutely stunning. I will be adding different types of Monstera to my collection, but for the moment, this is my number one. As of today, it has been 4 days since I shot this video. I am going to give you a bonus video after this to show you the newly fenestrated leaf fully opened. I cannot get over the beauty of this plant, and I look forward to many years of growth with it.
All right, guys, so here it is. My newly fenestrated leaf. I am so excited about this. This is the first Monstera I've ever owned, and this is the first fenestrated leaf I've ever owned. I'm very excited about this plant. It doesn't have any new shoots coming out as far as I can tell. This is the newest one and the largest. I can't wait to see all the future leaves and how much fenestration I'm able to get in this. Thank you so much for watching. See you. Have a great day.